Yeah, so honestly, music is it's a universal language. Like no matter where you go, you're gonna hear music. You can be in the elevator, you can be in the store, hanging out with friends somewhere in the car, anywhere. Like music is always around. I always tell my students when I ask them what music is, they don't really have an answer for it. But I tell them it's just a collection of sounds that's coming together. But it's a collection of organized sounds.
Welcome to the Unknown Options, the place where we explore the unknown options. My name is Will, and today I have with me Aaron. Aaron, it's great to have you here. Your journey is important, so we want to highlight the good, the bad, and the ugly. For someone who might not know, what is a piano professor?
Yeah, man, thanks for having me. So a professor is a lot of things. A piano professor, I mean, we're educators, we're parental figures. Someone who really just makes learning fun. It's one thing to have a teacher, but someone who's been in the profession for a while, professing, if you will. We make material fun and interesting, pretty much.
Okay, I like that. How did you get started in this
Yeah.
career?
So, man, so it's been quite a journey. So, I was actually a public school teacher for elementary. I taught music after college, and then I wasn't a fan of the little ones for too long. Love them, but I can't be around them too long. So, I moved to high school. I became a band and choral director. Loved it. It was a lot of fun. Both in the system, it was just public schools. There's a lot of things going on, a lot of pros and cons, ups and downs. So, I actually found this human development company where I'm with right now, and I was hired as an S1 piano professor. So I'm teaching anywhere from students to adults older than me. I'm just teaching them how to play piano, how to understand music, and that's how that journey kind of went in the T. That's how it happened.
Okay, I like it. Um, I'm gonna I guess steer off a little bit. Usually I ask why is this job important and what does it contribute to general public? But I mean since you are you, I want to ask why is music important and what does music contribute to society?
Yeah. So honestly, music is it's a universal language. Like no matter where you go, you're gonna hear music. You can be in the elevator, you can be in the store, hanging out with friends somewhere in the car, anywhere. Like music is always around. I always tell my students when I ask them what music is, they don't really have an answer for it. But I tell them it's just a collection of sounds that's coming together. But it's a collection of organized sounds. So you can have someone tapping a pen somewhere, someone coughing. It could be something random, right? But if you add like a beat behind it or you add control, that's when it becomes music. So honestly, I love it just because it's anywhere, and honestly, anyone can learn it if you just take the time to do it.
Mm, I like that. I like to imagine me being a musician, but it doesn't seem like a bright spot. I guess tell me. I mean, I know you. I'm pretty sure you went to UNCG, right?
Yeah, yeah.
UNC Greensboro. Awesome. Tell me, I guess your path from high school to college, how you got to where you are right now, and were you always looking to do what you do now, or how did it, I guess you evolve over that period of time?
Yeah, I never had this question before. It's actually really interesting because so the answer was no, but yes at the same time. So I knew I was going to be doing music. I know where it was going to be, how it was going to happen. I did not think I'd be in this company, but I'm glad I was. So taking it back to middle school, even because it goes into high school, I was in a piano class. My twin brother played piano. He hated it. And I said, that looks fun. So I tried it. The rest is history. But throughout high school, every day I was just in class and I was loving what I was doing. Heard other people play. Some parts I wasn't that good at, other parts I was. I just pushed myself. And one of my piano teachers in high school, he told me, you should look into doing this, after high school, go to college for this audition. I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna, I wasn't thinking college and family, all that stuff. I was just thinking in that moment what I wanted to do for a career. So I said I'll give it a shot. I didn't think it was very practical. I was actually going to do engineering actually, but I didn't do that. So I'm still interested in it, like mechanical, specifically mechanics. But I still love music. So after high school, I auditioned for a couple schools for UNCG, and they got me in the program. But I wanted to be there for performance. I only got in for a BA in general music because I was self-taught. Essentially, at that school in Durham, we just learned out of a book essentially in class. I didn't have like a private instructor. So some of my friends actually had that. They had private instructors growing up. I didn't have that. So I didn't know about it. Like I said, my brother played it, so I just dived into it myself. So I learned out of a book. They told me I had talent, so I ran with it. So I didn't. I got into the music program, but not the performance aspect. So that was kind of a doozy. So I said, I still want to go in. So we said, okay. At the end of this semester, my professor at the time, he just told me, study these things, go ahead and do all this, and then when you have your jury, at the end of every semester, we have to perform and do all these rudiments and whatnot. He said, we'll make this your audition. If you do it well and you're ready to move up, will take you from BA up to performance where you want to be. So I was working hard. I was studying, day and night, and in the practice rooms for hours at a time. And eventually, we had the jury. It came up. I played, and I received the email for my grade. He said, "We had no hesitation letting you in this time. Congratulations, you're in the performance program." So that was good for me to let me know that okay, I can do this. So I was in a
Yeah.
performance program. Ironically, I dropped out just because I'm like over
Oh
time I knew
no.
like it was cool. So freshman year, I was in there second semester. Sophomore year, junior year, literally my senior year, the last semester, I just decided to go back to where I was freshman year. Just because there's more opportunities with the BA. If you graduate with a performance major or a BS, um, what is it, BS or BM? If you graduate with a performance degree, you can only do so much. But with a BA, in general music, you can do a lot more. They'll see like, okay, you're not just performing all day, but you can do this, this, and that. And also just the work at the time was just a lot of just stressful, but it wasn't too much from what I was doing. Like I was playing 3 pieces a semester, but with performance, it was 4 pieces. So it really wasn't that big of a difference. But in that moment, just the headspace I was at. Um, but coming to K-12, I actually had to go. I went to a private school, Greensboro College, to get my certification. So they had me on residential license so I can teach the elementary students. And it was fun. Did that for a couple years, but it's very draining because kids can be a lot.
Yeah.
So right before, after I left elementary, I went to high school, and that was a lot of fun. Like I was directing the band, the chorus. Like man, we had a performance. I loved it. Like every second of it. I would go back if I could. And I can, but it's just the system with like the pay and there's like a teacher shortage now. There's lots of going on. So that's why I left, and then like discipline issues with kids and things of that nature. And it's not their fault. We can't really blame them. It's the system, not the kids.
Yeah.
So after high school, that's when I was just applying around. I wanted to be remote full time. Thinking about getting a dog, wanting to expand the family. And I'm like, I can't be going in somewhere if I want a dog sitting in the house all day. So I want to make
Yeah.
sure I have that, that freedom.
Yeah.
I can work inside, take the dog out back, do things like that, not have to have them in a room all day and then finally come back. So I
Definitely.
was applying literally anywhere. I just typed in, I didn't really want to do specifically piano, but that's what I was good at. So I said, let me just apply for piano teaching jobs. So piano teacher here, here, and here. But then I saw professor come up. Okay, this is different. Let me go ahead and look at this. So I looked it up.
Mhm.
But what really sold me was it wasn't just teaching every day because I don't want to just teach all day. It was so much of teaching, but then the other part was like creative projects. So at the time, it was composing like we're signed with a company right now to help them with like animated film. So we're producing music for them, and it was a lot of fun. But the projects wasn't just for composing. When I got the position, my employer told me the sky's the limit for projects. We're just expanding the company. We'll see where it's going to go. We're human development because we do just that. We develop the well being of others, as I like to put it. So that's when I kind of like still held on to the education aspect. So I'm still like teaching kids and everything, but I actually developed a program where I'm helping out K-12 students. I'm not there physically, but I made a program to where I sold it to a company being K-12. And
Yeah.
it's a summer camp right now. So I go out there and I'm going to help them with like music production. There's still that music comes back. But then some audio engineering too. So engineering kind of came back. I didn't realize that until now.
Nice.
But yeah, so that's kind of how everything happened.
Okay, awesome. I love that I love that story. Is how influential was like college in like I guess this part of your journey? Was it relevant? I mean, obviously we get a lot of like slack for college. Like I never used my degree, but I
Mhm.
mean I think you have a unique degree. So how influential was college in your journey?
Yeah, I think I'm one of the few that was blessed to still use my degree because I don't know what the stats are now, percentage, but I think I'm very blessed and fortunate to use my degree now. Because if I didn't have this degree, I don't think I would have been hired. Because you need to know so much to get in. Like the interview process is crazy and it's getting crazier. It's hard
Yeah.
to get in. So I think it's really good that I have my degree. I think it's very important. Now it is a fine art, and I even take it further by saying anyone who's doing fine arts like in college, they have to really want it. But I want them to know that they need to have like a broadened mindset. Like don't go in there. Like I know someone who went to school. I think it was for writing, and he's wanting to. Well, I'm not going to touch on that, but essentially if you go in wanting one thing, you're not going to get it. Like you're going to have to broaden it out. There's nothing wrong with a plan B. You're just a realist. You don't want to go in there
Yeah.
thinking plan A. If I don't do this, I suck. I failed. It's not that. Like you're
Yeah.
not God. You can't. You know exactly where you're going to go. So if you just
Yeah.
have that open mind, like that open mindset to say, okay, if I don't do this, this second option is okay, or even this third one is okay because it still has my desires, I think you'll be okay. So I think it's very
Okay.
important that you go to school, but don't. It's better. Honestly, I don't think it's required. Like that's the thing. Like personally speaking, I was gonna get my master's soon. Like I wanted to get it, but after where I'm at right now, with everything how successful it is, like personally, I don't think it's needed.
Yeah.
And a lot of employers out there, a lot of bosses even say the same thing. Like, I'm not here for your education. I'm here for your mindset, for your experiences. You got kids making
Yeah.
NFTs and stuff right now. They're still in high school and they
Yeah.
buying their parents $1 million houses. Like, obviously, they
Elementary
didn't finish.
school, some of them.
Exactly, for real. Like, so a bachelor, I would say personally, bachelor, I don't want to cap it at that, but for me, I'm fine capping it where I'm at. Like, I wanted a master's degree, and a part of me still kind of
Yeah.
does. But if I settle with the bachelor, I'm going to be fine financially, and I'll be very comfortable.
Yeah.
So I don't want anyone thinking after high school, I have to do this or I'm going to fail. Just find something you like, but be real about it. Know that you may not
Okay.
get exactly that, but you'll be okay if you have an open mind.
I love that. I wanna. I know you said something earlier that kind of piqued my interest. You said the interview process was kind of crazy. Can you highlight like like why it was crazy?
Yeah. So, man, I don't know if I should be saying all this, but no, you know the company. It's
No,
cool.
yeah,
No,
yeah. You
good.
don't
So, no, it's
gotta.
really cool. So we're just looking for the best and the brightest, like any company. So when I got hired, I think I was among like me and three others out of like 50 candidates we got hired. So I felt good. I'll get into more detail, but now it's like we may have a couple hundred to 1,000, and we still only hire like one or two people. So we're really particular with who we purchase, with who we hire.
Yeah,
So like when I'm interviewing people, there's different phases. Like I'll be over, I don't know, like phase one and phase two. So we just meet them. What do you want to do? Why did you choose this company? And then phase two, we give them a couple articles to read about the company to see if they actually did it. And it's really particular too. So we ask them like, how'd you like the articles? Do you still want to actually work here? It's one thing to apply to the money, but then it's another thing. Our statutes and our values. Do you like resign with us? Do you reside with us? And then phase three goes into the practicing portion. We need to see you actually teaching a student. So we have one of our students, we have a mock lesson, how you do well. Some, you can have a PhD in music, but I've seen some, they're too to the book. They don't have any charisma with the students, so they don't get hired
yeah,
because you can't relate to the kids. You're good,
yeah,
but you don't, we need more than just that. And then phase four is where there's another class, like a group class in a sense. And not really a panel, but it's like part two of the teaching. So we actually have them in another class and they're moving around. Sometimes it's like a part two to phase four because the candidates are like neck and neck. They're really good. So it's very nitpicky, but we're just trying to find the best of the best. Some companies love this, some companies hate it, but I personally like it because we're not just doing two interviews and you're hired. But
yeah,
nowadays, I've seen other companies do like four, sometimes five phases to see, are you really about this? Do you want to do this?
yeah.
So I think it's
Definitely.
really good. That's why it's moving up every single time.
Yeah. Okay, I like that. Do you think that I guess the industry of human development, do you think it's going to grow or decline in the future?
That's very interesting with AI out and everything. Honestly, human development is such a big umbrella, like, right? So if you think about where I'm at now, I say human development because yes, I'm a piano professor, but I'm also a project manager, program manager. Um, there's so many things that I'm doing right now, administration and with the recruiting process and whatnot. Um, we're strictly through music, but we're not just teaching piano to teach it. We're actually helping them, better themselves. Because usually when it comes to the old method of teaching, you have a professor for like an hour a day, once a week. But a lot of students tend to drop out because it's boring. Sometimes parents force them to do it, for brain, make you smarter, all that kind of stuff. But what we do here, we have short bursts, short lessons every day instead of once a week. And it's just really important for the kids because it's letting them know, okay, I don't need to be perfect because that's how the old model was. You need to be perfect, make sure you get these notes right. But nowadays, it's just more about iteration. As long as you do this every single day, you'll see the result by the end of the week. So we're not focused on you being perfect, but we want you to see if you've been doing these for like 2 or 3 weeks, what was that result like? If they like it, cool, keep doing it. If you don't like it, change some things up, do it differently next time. So that's one aspect of human development. You can also have a tech company that's human development. You can have a food industry that's human development. So it's really just focusing less on the product and more on who you're selling it to and why you're selling it to them.
Mm. Okay, I
Yeah.
like that. I like that. Okay. Could you, I mean, I know probably every day varies, but could you kind of like give us like maybe a day to day of like your most common day and what you do in your job?
Yeah, so I'll teach. So yeah, it's on the Pacific time, so it's in California, but I'm on the East Coast. That kind of sucks. I'm up late at night, but no, so I'm teaching piano, and they're short bursts. So I have student after student for a couple hours, maybe like 3, 4, or two, between 2 and 4 hours a day. But then for my creative projects, I decided and talked to my employer that I want to focus on education more. So I made a podcast focusing on the highs and lows within education, where I reach out to a lot of people. I've talked to superintendent, principals, state representatives. Um, so that's what I focus on. And then another project, like I'm working on a book, like a method book for our company, where I'm helping students not only play piano, but really like get in tune with why you're doing this and like really making the music jump off the page. And then I'm also, like I mentioned, that program I started where I'm teaching students about music production and audio engineering. I'm going to schools, the team and we just help students learn about that. So I like to say it's internship experience for the kids, because, like you mentioned, it's important to get a college degree. So this will let them know. I want them to dive into music. If you like this is what it's going to be like. You're working with professionals who do this full time. And if they don't like it, that kind of lets them know, okay, I'll just kind of shun this to the side. I'll go to college for something else. So it's internship
Definitely.
experience, and it's just just fun. Just gets their mind off of everyday academics, math and um, science and history. They wouldn't get away from that stuff because it gets boring
Yeah.
over time. They need an outlet. So that's why that was there. That's why I created this program. Um, but yeah, so apart from working on those small projects, I'm just teaching. But it's fun because the projects can be different every single day. Like I could be arranging music for someone. I could be working on a program for, what I'm working on right now with the K-12 schools, working on the podcast. That could be, within a recruiting process for the next 2 weeks because we're hiring someone new. So it's usually every day it's fun because the teaching part that can get redundant. I'm not one to sit for one job forever, do the same thing. And if it was just teaching, I would not be here. Honestly, I would not. And if my employer sees
Yeah.
that, that's cool. Because he know, like, over time, you don't want to do the same thing. Like he knows that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so I love it because every day is a little bit different, believe it or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I love that. If you were a younger you, let's say an 18-year-old Aaron, like I guess you had your knowledge that you have now though. Would you do anything differently?
In terms of like career wise or just like mindset.
I say both because I think they intertwine. So I would say
Hmm,
both.
it is good. Would I do anything differently? Man, I don't know, to be honest. I always said I don't want to regret. I'm always trying to like talk like I'm big, but let me be real. Like sometimes people can regret. Like I'll be trying to sound all high and mighty, but I'm not. Um, I don't know. I mean, honestly, I feel like I would change my degree, believe it or not, or I would double major maybe. Every time I heard someone double major, I'm like, that's a lot of work. Like I ain't got a minor. You here double major and like it's crazy. But
You're right.
I guess like yeah, I think I would probably get a second major or maybe another degree because with what I'm trying to do right now, I love where I'm at, but I want to grow more. So I can't see myself in one place forever. One place hasn't like doing the same thing. Same company, that's
Yeah.
fine, but the same title, I can't do that. So I've been pushing myself to do bigger and better things within the company, and I know they notice it. Um, so I think I would get it. I would go back and get a second. I would do a second major or another degree, just so I can be more well rounded.
Wow, that's crazy because that feeds into our next question. It's like, what are the possibilities of growth in this industry?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So with where I'm at right now, like the growth is honestly endless just because some companies out there, they teach just piano all day and that's all they do. And they love it. That's perfect. They can do that. That's fine. But what we do, we were actually a software company first because we found the problem with the old model of teaching versus the new model, which we're using now. We're the only company doing this right now. And it's very successful, doing very well. But we're an education company and software. But then my employer said we're actually a human development because we're kind of doing a lot, not just these two aspects, but we're really trying to, better people today, mindset wise and things of that nature. So I think there's a lot of growth here. And I had an interview like this a while back about the company. It was an internal interview where one of our employees were, one of my coworkers was going around to other employees, talking about like their process and stuff coming here and where they were. And I told them, like, I don't stay in places long, but I can see myself here for like 10, 20 years until I retire. Like, that's how much growth you can do here. Like, you're not just stuck doing one thing.
Yeah.
Um, and like I mentioned, the creative projects, when I got hired, I thought it was just composing music for film. And to be honest, I was sold off of that. I'm like, okay, that's cool. I like making music. But
Yeah.
after realizing it's not just create, you can do anything you want, as long as you're not like wasting money in the company, of course, like you want it to grow. The things I've been doing, it's been bringing money to the company. So it's like, wow, I did that. I literally thought to myself last night, what else can I do to, I guess not make my name bigger, but just add to my resume and, grow the company so we can actually be something even bigger. Because we're already big, but we're going to be huge if we keep this up and hire the right people. So yeah, growth, it's everything, man. And I think this industry is really growing because it's such a large umbrella. Like if you ask three different people, human development company, oh, human development, okay, what do you do? They're all going to say something completely different. Like if they say the same thing, they may be at the same company. Um,
Yeah.
but I think it's just really cool because even when I say it to myself, I'm like, should I really be calling it that? Because someone else may be like, no, this is not what that is. Aaron, you wrong. They may be watching this, be like, what are you talking about? But that's the beauty of it. Like I said, it's such a big umbrella. Because if you just break down the words human development, you're developing humans to do better than what they've done yesterday. Some companies don't care about people like that. Food industry, food chains, clothing. Sometimes it's like, I just want to sell a product. I'm just going to push it and make a lot of money, like selling cars. But then other clothing brands, they may be like, no, like I want people to see you can wear something that's $5, $10 or something that's $100 and you can rock it. I want you to know that you have that mindset, you are empowering yourself. So it really comes down to how the employer and how the employees see the company. And is it really growing people? That's what makes a human development company. If you're just pushing products, you don't care about the humans. You just care about that paycheck coming in.
I love it. I gotta do some more research on human development. I really like the concept, or I guess the ideology behind it.
Yeah.
Well, that concludes the first part of the interview. We're headed to the not so speed round. This is four questions. Yeah, they're in there. I mean, you can answer them quick, like short, or however you want. The first question is, what would happen to society? I'm gonna say if music didn't exist, or what does a world look like without music?
Hmm. I'm trying not to make this sound cliche. So I mean, it would just be boring to be honest. Like, I mean, I'm heavily biased, honestly, because I mean, it's
Yeah.
obvious. I make music and I teach it, but it would be boring, because like I mentioned earlier, you can be you could be in an elevator somewhere, in the store, in your car, and there's always like a tune playing, right? Even if
Yeah.
someone's like heating up food in the microwave, they like start singing. They start singing jingles for whatever reason. Like it's just something we do, right? Everyone has emotion, but music really does amplify that emotion, which is why I love it. So I think it would just be life would be great, but it would just get boring, man. Like it'd be sunny, but it'd be like on an overcast day. Like you see the clouds, but like if you imagine a day where there's no cloud, you just see the sun and blue sky. That's what music does for the world. But if you see clouds like overcast, like it's sunny out, like on a snowy day, I guess. Like you don't really see the sun. It's all white and
Yeah.
gray. It's a beautiful day out, but
Yeah.
it's not like it can be more beautiful. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's kind of like that.
Okay.
That's my best way of like putting it.
I like it because I think music is ingrained into like the human genome, if that makes sense. So it's like
No,
it's
I
hard
got
to
you.
imagine a world without music. The second question: are you underpaid or overpaid?
Mm. So I think because we're a startup, I don't want to say under. I think that's I'd say underpaid just because with inflation going on and with how much money some people are making, I don't want to say it's dumb stuff, but let's just be real. Like some stuff is like, how you getting paid doing that, bro? Like how?
Yeah.
So I would say underpaid just because inflation sucks, and I
Yeah.
see other companies getting paid so much more doing this.
Yeah.
So why are we not getting this? But then we have a salary, but then we're commission based too. So at the same time, it's like if you work, you'll get the money, but then that's overtime, and you shouldn't have to work overtime just to get what this person's making over here doing regular. So I say underpaid, but it's not terrible.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. That works. Name one person, book, or event that changed the trajectory of your life.
Hmm. Person, book, or event. Well, the book, the Bible. The Bible changed my life.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, no Bible though, because the Bible
what?
I exclude I exclude the Bible because like I think that's like the fundamental of like just really everything. So it's like I feel like oh no, I can't. Let me
No,
stop
you
doing that.
good. I was gonna say, welcome to the Christian podcast. That's all that is. He's like, no, we
Yeah.
are already about that. Um, So you said book, person, or event
Yeah, yeah.
that influenced me or changed my life?
Change your life essentially.
Man, event, person, or I'd say my wife because I'm very like tunnel vision. I do things on my own. And I mean, going back to the Bible again, you said, but Adam and Eve, like we're not God. We can't do things on our own. We're just, we're like half of a person essentially. We need a helper. And the
Yeah.
same thing for women too. They can't do things on their own too. They need their other half. So it's like no matter how good someone has it out here, they may feel incomplete or something. They're just not complete because they need that other half. Two halves make a whole. So I'd say my wife, just because there's things I have tunnel vision even to this day. Like I would like, now I'm doing this. I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And even like I just have like a set mindset, and she'll just say something. She's not rude at all. Like she'll just give me a new perspective. And I'm just like she twisted it completely. And she just that's just her perspective, and and I love it because it's like I feel like I know things. I know I don't, but I think I know everything sometimes. I need to start
Yeah.
doing that. And I'm getting better because man, I've been through some things like, well, you don't know nothing. But like she'll say some things and it's good, like just random things, like I don't know. I can't think of an example, but like just what she says, it's like she really like makes me think like I honestly never saw it that way. And it's like,
Mhm.
dang, like we make a good team. Like it's one thing for me to like this is not the example, but I guess just imagine someone like working hard overtime. They want to provide for the family. And then the wife is like, instead of, going to all these houses and doing yard work or whatever, why don't you just hire two more people and then give
Yeah.
them a meaningful, amount of money? But, I'll work the numbers back here. They'll get a meaningful
Yeah.
check. They love coming back and everything. And we're making more money now and you're doing less work. It's like,
Yeah.
dang, like honestly, like I'm not thinking that, but like she'll say something I never thought of. And it's like, dang, I could have gotten where I wanted to, but I may have died earlier. I may have been stressed. You know what I mean? Like, who
Yeah.
knows? But like
100%.
she made it so much easier for me. So yeah, I'd say my wife.
That's a good answer. Perspective is everything, and definitely like I feel like men and women have I guess different specialties,
Yeah.
and definitely a woman's touch is definitely more I guess gentle than a man. So we tend to run through brick walls when they tend to have a
Yeah,
hammer and a
for
chisel.
real.
And last question is how would someone get into I guess human development um if they don't have a degree and if they do have a degree like I guess like two different people
Yeah.
like if it's possible with no degree, if it's
Mhm.
not it's not.
So to be real, like when I got the company, I didn't even see it as human development until my employer mentioned it, and I was like, you know what, that sounds cool. I'm tired of saying I'm a teacher, so I'm gonna start saying that. But
Yeah.
I think like it goes back to the whole experience thing. Like for someone who wants to join this, they should honestly just literally Google up what it looks like what is human development, and then look for jobs that relate to that kind of mindset. But if they're watching a podcast, they can kind of just take my definition of it. Like, am I so find what you like to do, food, clothing, I don't know, selling, pushing any kind of product or whatnot, or services. They don't have to be a product always. Find what it is you like to do. Then understand that, man, we're gonna be working. Like for as long as you live, you work. You may not like it, but that's kind of just how it happens. Unless you have like a silver spoon from birth or something like that, you're gonna be working.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you just get over that aspect, there is such thing as a dream job. I know some people think there's not, but honestly, there is. You're not gonna love
Yeah.
everything. Um, just like the whole, I'm kind of going into something, I'm kind of digressing here, but like, oh yeah, the perfect woman or the perfect man to marry. You with them for a couple months, you're gonna realize quick they're not perfect, but they're perfect to you.
Yeah. Yeah,
So it's
100%.
like if they really, it's like you said, perspective. I say that all the time. I say that all the time. Perspective, perspective is everything. So it's like if they just really break it down, what do you want to do? Find out which companies are doing that, but then pick the company that has the same mindset as you. Um, so like when I was talking a while back and I was mentioning how I don't remember his name, the guy who had the food channel who went around the world just like tasting food. He had the spiky hair.
Bourdain. Oh,
Yeah, yeah,
Guy
yeah.
Fieri.
Yeah, Guy Fieri. I mean, there's a couple of them, but yeah, both of them. Yeah, Jourdain and Fury. I literally talked about this a while back, and I was like, they literally pick what they like to do. They stuff in their faces making money. Like they're just eating food.
Yeah.
Like, but it's people love
Yeah.
it. Like they eat that up. The culture and there's so much more to it than just eating, of course. But like, he has a whole
Yeah.
team, and it goes into a lot of logistics. But just break it down to what it is. He loves food, so he has a whole career on eating food. Like it's crazy,
Yeah.
but you can do it. So if they really just break it down, like that's the perfect example right there. Instead of run over time, but just really break it down. Find what it is you want. many companies are doing this, and new companies are coming out the ground doing the exact same thing. So it's like, how we got a Burger King and McDonald's and Wendy's and Culver's. Like those are four burger joints. Like, why are we have four? But they
Hey,
offer so many different things.
I ain't gonna lie to you though. Culver's in a whole different bracket than McDonald's and Burger King and Wendy's.
Oh, you with the concrete, you ain't lying. But yeah, like you think exactly like they offered something that someone else wasn't doing. Like
Yeah.
yeah, like what is it? McDonald's and Wendy's are frying their burgers, but Burger King is grilling them. So like, and
Yeah,
even cookout, like it's just something different. So
true.
don't feel bad if you want to make your own company. Just really break it down like that. What are these companies doing? How can I do this? But how can I make it relate to like my goals and my values? Because you'll most likely find people out there who are doing the same thing as you, who have the same mindset. And there you go. You got your team. Go ahead and start the company. Of course, it sounds easy, but that's the first step to planning. If you don't plan, you're not going to get anywhere. But that's where people stop. After they plan, they just stop. They need to
Yeah.
actually write the stuff down and then start checking off things and start talking to people. And before you know it, man, 2, 3 years, they're gonna have a whole company. They're gonna wish they did it sooner. Like it is really
100%.
simple if you think about it. It really is simple. You just gotta time is everything. You just gotta take time is valuable. That's all I gotta say. Time is really valuable.
Definitely. And like I second that. I always tell somebody like everyone's an idea fair. Like everyone has good ideas, but most people can't execute. And that's what
Exactly.
it comes down to. Like everyone has good ideas. Like I have a whole idea book. I write down ideas, but it's like the people that win are people that grow companies, that build companies, successful companies at that, are the people that execute consistently. And
Exactly.
and I think that was a great answer too. And I really appreciate it. We had 31 minutes, so we definitely went over, but it's a great conversation. Can you give everyone like your social medias and like your YouTube channels where like, all that kind of stuff and whatever you want to say to the
Yeah.
audience?
So I think YouTube, yeah, YouTube, Spotify, Instagram I don't even really use. Mainly YouTube right now. A Piano J. So my initials AJ, but then piano's in the middle. So just A Piano J is where I produce my music. Um, Christian lo-fi tracks, things like that. But that's pretty much it. I used to use Instagram and stuff, but I don't really have it. Like I don't really do it anymore. If anything, it's to push my stuff now that I'm doing in the company. But I don't even do that because I'm doing everything internally. So it's really just YouTube, A Piano J.
Okay, perfect. Awesome. Well, we'll check that out. I'll tag it. I'll put it in the thumbnail for the video. Everybody, thank you for watching. Please like, comment, like, and subscribe. Thank you, Aaron, for joining us on the Unknown Options, and y'all have a nice night.